First question is for you, Jan. It seemed a lot of people were speaking that you had a chance here to play aggressively on move 20 when you played Rook D1. You could have played the move C4. Did you think about this move, and why did you decide eventually against it?
Well, of course, I considered C4 as one of my options, but yeah, somehow the position was that pleasant. It was difficult to choose the type of advantage you want to see at the board. So basically, I think I had some idea of playing some knight f5, queen c1, bishop h6, but it unfortunately didn't work. I mean, move per move, and then I believe okay, c4 was quite principal, but I also had the idea to play c4 after trading away light square bishops. But I mean, once again, yes. So I could play this position with pawn on c5, could play this position with pawn on c3. And speaking about the endgame, I thought it's quite unpleasant. Also move per move, but yeah, somehow it turned out that this passive plan exists, like just knight e8, knight f8, and I believe perhaps I could play h4 instead of knight h5, just to fix h4 and h5 without playing g4. It was probably the smarter try, but anyway, black is very solid. But yeah, speaking about c4 move, of course, it was it deserves attention.
Magnus, you must have also seen the move c4. Were you concerned?
Yeah. I definitely considered that the main option. I thought everything else was kind of manageable. Obviously, it's always a bit worse, but it feels like my position is not going to get worse. It's only probably going to gradually improve, seeing as I have very few real weaknesses. But yeah, c4 was definitely what was worrying me the most there, and seeing rook d1, I kind of thought that the worst was over.
You chose to be the one to deviate first in this game. Why did you choose to do that instead of play the line you did the last time?
I thought it's always good to spring the first surprise. Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't work out very well for me. I think he chose a very good line, and yeah, I actually kind of knew that it's hard to completely equalize in this line. I thought there's limited material and fairly symmetrical, so I'll figure it out if it comes to that. But yeah, it was a little bit more unpleasant than I'd hoped.
Jan, were you pleased to see him deviate with rook b8?
No, I wasn't pleased. Let's say, of course, you consider a lot of options for black, because basically more or less all sensible tries after a4 in Marshall are very solid. So okay, rook b8 is one of most solid perhaps, but yeah, black somehow should come up with some precise moves afterwards. But yeah, I guess Magnus didn't manage to make all moves into the right order, so that's why okay, this opportunity of c4, for example, existed. But I mean, once you see Spanish game, you already know not so pleased, yeah.
Your general feeling about the result, given the position that you had and the potential opportunities that you had?
No, of course I'm disappointed.
Magnus, same question.
No, it's okay. Obviously, I'm not thrilled with the game where I just had. Yeah, I don't think I'm well. Unless you count rook a2, rook a1 at the end, I didn't make a single active move. So, that's not ideal. Doesn't win you many games, but the result obviously is fine.
A lot of comments are coming in about draws. The draws, you've heard this question before. The fifth draw matters in this match overall? Do you care, or it's just another draw with the black pieces?
I think there is some magical cutoff point where draws, instead of just being normal, they become a problem. But don't think we've crossed the Rubicon yet.
All right. I will open the floor to journalists for your questions. You may go to the microphones to the sides of the room and ask your questions. And there are 2 microphones, so make your way to those. Yes?
Yes, Rune from Chess24, Global Stream. First question to Jan. You seem to be putting out a lot of pressure today. Famously, before the match, you said that maybe Magnus's fire wasn't burning so strongly anymore. He defended very well. Has these first 5 games changed your assessment of the fire situation?
Well, to be honest, I don't remember if I say something like this, yeah. I mean, of course, he plays extremely well, and I mean, today it's basically not about him defending well, but me, using all the opportunities I had. I mean, in general, I believe, okay, these games are pretty much tense, and despite it's all draws, we are trying to play reasonable chess.
Yeah, of course, a big fight. And similar question to Magnus. Before the match, you said that maybe Dinglirena Caruana could be a bigger challenge, but after these 5 games and struggling a bit today, has that changed your assessment of your opponent?
Well, as you remember, it was pretty tough against Fabio as well. But no, obviously, Jan is a very strong player. There was nothing that I said that would contradict that.
Okay, thank you.
Mike Klein with Chess.com. My question is for Jan Nepomniachtchi. Comparing today's round to round 2, when you had some chances in that game, it looks, just by judging by your body language, that you're a little more disappointed today than about round 2. Is that accurate, or was round 2 a bigger disappointment results-wise?
No, I mean, basically every time when you are given some chances and you fail to use them properly, you're not happy. Yeah, I believe today it was like a very pleasant flow of the game, and obviously I should have tried harder to, use the momentum. I mean, in the game too, by the way, I'm not sure that humanly it was like that obvious that, every time, it seemed like, okay, perhaps Black is rock solid in an exchange up, but in fact I think White had quite nice playing compensation.
Question to Magnus. When Jan had his knight on f5, you had a chance to play h5 with the idea of g6 to get the knight out, but you went for f6, and Jan, you did not stop the idea with g4. You also played f3, and both of you were not afraid of this h5 g6 idea, or you didn't consider that as?
Yeah, that's very, very good point. I thought concretely f3 was threatening knight takes d6 or knight f takes d6, and I could not go knight d6 anymore because the pawn was not hanging on e4, I simply considered knight d6 to be a positional threat. I thought I needed to exchange to be able to recapture with the knight, and that's why I thought that was more important than not allowing h4, h5. And besides, I'd kind of already envisioned the fortress that I had in the game, where I just exchanged one knight, put the bishop on f8, and then just do nothing. Maybe in the end game I can actually exchange rooks as well. Probably that's the case, but I just thought that I had a nice fortress there. I assume after h5 after h5, knight takes d6, I'm probably fine as well. But it would pose me different kinds of problems, and I didn't want to give him the chance to sort of change the flow of the game and the character of the position.